wake up from a dream, that's what we're gonna do. We're like, CMU, we need to do this. It's gonna be great. Everybody's gonna love it. Alumni will come back and give you tons of money. You know what we need to do? We need to build these little tiny things, stuff a little girl inside, and make her drive down a hill.
Describe Carnegie Mellon as a place where things just like magically happen. It's such an amazing, such a unique, amazing place because, students really are the driving force of all the programming, the initiatives, the research, and things like that. It's such a diverse place. I think everybody from every different college has a unique story and has a unique passion, and when they say my heart is in the work, I think that's really true on the academic side, but I don't think people really realize that happens out of the classroom as well.
I really think the innovation that Carnegie Mellon prides itself in, and students being architects of change, is so apparent in this setting that also provides important social outlet for our students who work so hard.
One of the things I was struck by CMU was it was also very pragmatic. It was a school that taught you professional skills, whether it was science, engineering, design, HNSS. It wasn't necessarily a school to go and just find yourself or go and just, learn about things. It had this very, very practical, I think from the get-go when it was, Carnegie Tech, had this very practical, pragmatic kind of spin to it. And doing Buggy is a very, it's kind of a silly thing, but it's very practical. Well, maybe not practical, but it's very pragmatic. It's very hands-on. And I think that's something that why it goes well with the school.
I think it's amazing that it started in the first place, and sort of we give lip service to the fact that, it's this, sort of social event, but then it has become really high tech. So I think it's a marriage of what you're doing in the classroom and a fabulous application, outside the classroom. And there aren't many cases where you see that. Also, an organization that brings together engineers and designers and then people who know nothing about Buggy that get involved in it. It's not very discriminatory. Everybody needs help in their respective organizations. So I think that's really fantastic.
I
don't think you'll find this crazy mix of engineers, artists, short people, and athletes who are not that serious about varsity sports. And if we had scholarships for athletes, I don't think they'd be sacrificing their athleticism for a hobby like this. But I think it all comes together, and we have just a unique breed of students here that makes them think this is a great idea.
It takes a long tradition for anyone to think this is even close to a sane activity. I think we really have to thank those people in 1920 who were looking for something to do in the spring, and they got it going, and once you have something going for a few years, it becomes part of the culture. I don't think that the people over at Case Western couldn't pull it off if they had the tradition, or our other peer schools. I'm just glad that we're here and that we're the school that got to do it.
1, 2, 3. Oh.
When I got to see Buggy, I was like, well, of course. I don't think it could be at any other university. I think because it's been here for 90 years, there's a lot of knowledge passed down of things that have worked and haven't worked, and I think it would take a lot of effort for another university to try to bring this program to their campus, because not only does it take university support and advising support, but each organization really has to have the buy-in, because it takes a village with all the chores that happen, every weekend to make practices work and race day work and things like that.
Sweepstakes is the general term to describe Buggy, the sport of Buggy. The sweepstakes committee is made up of me and the assistant chairman, safety chairman, design chairman, Buggy book chairman, and an advisor. It also loosely encompasses the chairman of each organization. We have sweepstakes meetings and are collectively sweepstakes. But it's it's more the term to describe the governing body of Buggy as a whole.
Buggy is a bunch of crazy people at CMU who get together on weekend mornings and send a small girl in a torpedo-like structure down a hill, and then a team of pushers send her back up the hill. We practice all year long, and then in the springtime we have 2 days of races for our entire year of practicing. It's kind of like soapbox derby, but on crack.
There are people who say, why do students want to do this? Why? I mean, you could get up and do lots of things and get in good shape. You could do crew, you could do this. And I think that's the beauty of Carnegie Mellon, that there are niches for people to do some pretty remarkable things, and Buggy's pretty extraordinary.
CAA drivers, we're really cool.
Yeah, we are.
CIA is a really unique group of people. There are some people that I definitely wouldn't have really spoken to if they hadn't been in CIA, that, you know, maybe seem a little weird at first. But once you get to know them, you realize they're pretty cool people, and it's actually a really interesting group because we have a really cool dynamic. You know, people who wouldn't really get along in other situations can really work to create CIA.
What? No. Can you guess the second? We are just a big group of friends. Like, we get together, we hang out, we have fun time, and we're just there to have a good time. Like, we're not there to show how great CMU is. Like, CMU is great, but we're not there to advertise that on our own, sort of thing.
CAA is like the coolest thing ever. It's like a combination of crazy awesomeness, which just makes it more awesome and crazy.
Debagging? I love debagging! See, that's one of the embarrassing moments of us.
Wait, you fell asleep in the back of the truck several times
Not
too.
in the back of the truck. I fell asleep in the
Remember
cab.
that time?
Okay.
Now
David's
David
talking
in the
about
cab of the truck. Oh my god!
Okay, so, okay.
Well, we have to bribe people to come out to bag, right? Like, because no one's gonna just volunteer to come out to bag because it sucks. So I guess the theory was we'll give them food. So Aaron and Natalie host bagging dinners every Friday night in order to get enough people to come out to bag that we can bag for rolls on Saturday. You get to see the people in CIA that, like, actually really care about getting this, even because it's like a really menial task, right? Like, it's not like, oh man, bagging. And it makes bagging a lot nicer too, because you have people to do it with. You just know you're gonna do it and you have a schedule. And you get to see the people who actually care about getting things done that have to be done. And you get to, like, talk to them and see how their week was, because frankly we don't have much downtime. So it's nice to have, like, a specific time that has a purpose, that we all get to just, like, hang out and eat tasty food that we don't normally get on campus. And it makes bagging a lot nicer too, because you have people to do it with, and you have, like, you just know you're gonna do it and you have a schedule and stuff, and it's fun. I like it.
I want to say Buggy is about having a good time. It's really only there for people who like doing crazy things, who like being crazy themselves, and who just like having a good time. It's one of those things where the time of day doesn't have any effect on it, and it's just about meeting people and having great stories afterwards, and just being totally insane for, you know, the wee hours of the morning or late at night.
I'm pretty sure it was my first weekend of rolls when I went, you know, with everyone to Doherty Hall at 5 in the morning, and it was completely insane, because it is completely insane, but it was also a lot of fun, and I decided to, you know, stick around because I was really enjoying it and didn't have that much else to do with my free time.
I really don't have any doubts about Buggy. Only at like 5:30 in the morning when I'm waking up and about to head out the door when I prefer to be sleeping.
you see the teams that are out there every weekend at 5 o'clock in the morning are normally the teams that end up competing. I know that down in the buggy room at Pica, there's people working away almost 24/7. You have the prep time into preparing, the buggies for each weekend, plus the time that you put in towards building, a new buggy, if you are building. And then all the preparation, getting your pushers out there and coordinating with drivers, attending, sweepstakes meetings. I mean, it's a huge time commitment.
Hopefully it's just like.
Oh yeah. You ready?
Uh-huh. Thanks.
Oh, hi.
You don't need that much.
Guys, whatever. Let's get around.
Nice to see you.
It's not a full nose.
So before rolls, drivers have to do a drop test, which is a brake test. So they hold you on hill 1 and then they let you go and they test your brakes and make sure they're working. Just to make sure that the buggy is in good working condition before they send you down the free roll.
Can you see this? Okay.
Okay, here we go.
Break.
Release. Woo. Yay.
And then the drivers do a course walk to make sure, just to see how the course looks that day, if there are new potholes, if there's things on the course, if there's, a dead squirrel or turkeys, something like that. Those are all things we've run into. It's always good to know what's there, especially because you can't see it all the time when you're in the buggy.
Come on, sticks. More sticks. Get them.
They did a bad job
They did a bad job sweeping.
We're both mechanics, freshman mechanics. We joined this year.
We help build and maintain buggies and help out at rolls by loading and unloading drivers.
Then we go for the day, and it's fun.
Go get a bag.
The idea behind Truck Weekend is to provide everybody with a practice run. I mean, all through the year we're out there for rolls, but you're never quite doing exactly what you want to do on race day.
It's so called because you're lower to the back of a U-Haul, like you would do on race day. We normally stage within one of the academic buildings and just sort of run out and go around the course.
And sell it to Dan.
There we go.
Nothing yet.
Also not
having
Hopefully you guys have the buggy stuff for you next week. We'll give you a little
We'll have a moment. How do I have so many buckets? Whose is this blue one?
On race day, everyone stages at the bottom of the hill in a U-Haul. And that's a big change from having a lot of space to having no space.
And the more buggies you run, in our case 5, the more cramped it is.
Yeah. Truck Weekend's a little uncomfortable compared to even race day, just because you have to get all the drivers ready to go, as opposed to just one at any given time.
Oh! What the hell? Left!
Isn't her default supposed to be up?
Yeah. Yep.
Hence the cluster.
Blank.
Yes. I was not going to say it, but whatever.
I think there's really something about racing. There's this thing at the end of it, and you're gonna throw everything you have into it. Especially this 2-minute race. It's crazy. You spend all year, you spend so much time, and you build, and you look at every little thing you can change in a buggy, and you like train your drivers, and you psych them up, and you psych your pushers up, you do everything you can, and then it's just like this 2-minute like bundle of adrenaline. I don't know what it is, but I think it's completely addictive.
So race day is the real deal. Race day is obviously a race. You basically do the course just like you've practiced it, but this time you're racing against other teams. And so then on the actual race day, your 3 lanes on Fruit Street are filled with 1 buggy each from different teams. You want to be against different teams, that way you have like competitive spirit.
Good luck, guys, buddy. Good help. Okay.
That was epic. I know, but you did a great job. She was on your ass the whole way down. You did a fantastic job.
We crossed the line.
That was so good. Yeah. Oh my god, and the bars work. I know, it's exciting. We're happy.
I had a blast at race day. I mean, CIA did well. We had a ton of fun. I mean, there were a couple incidents, like we had a DQ or 2, but
a little sloppy around there in the shoe, but it seems okay.
Spirit spun.
Spirit spun out right there.
The whole race day was a little bit of a...
It was a real mess this year.
There were sort of technical details, random disqualifications, things that we don't... We're trying really hard not to harp on too much.
But we'll come back next year with a more solid team. And that's this plan, basically incremental updates, incremental improvements.
race day was a great experience. It's like, you know, the whole year has been building up to this, and it was just a really amazing, high energy, just, it was a whole lot of fun. Everyone's there, screaming their lungs out, cheering. And then after CIA wrapped up on day 2, we all went down to the chute and watched the buggies go by in the finals. I don't know, I really enjoyed being down there with all of CIA. It was kind of like a party. And then we immediately went to the party, but I mean, race day was amazing.
I think Buggy is kind of a collection of crazy psychopaths.
It's kind of cool to be part of such a weird tradition, and it's kind of cool to expand your knowledge base, but it's mostly just cool to make things go really fast.
We do it because you meet people with a similar interest, and you meet people who are willing to completely devote themselves to something and be a part of something that's bigger than them. And I mean, it starts off doing this crazy weird thing, and it turns into a group of your very best friends doing this crazy weird thing and being together and having fun, making the buggy go.
Buggy is about going fast. I really like race day and rolls and the excitement of actually racing. That's a big thrill. But the other part is I've met a lot of people in Buggy that I would have never had a chance to meet otherwise, and I made a lot of good friends with that, and I think that's just as important.
To me, I love interacting with everybody, and it's sort of the way that it's something that I really like doing and that I can just keep doing. It doesn't matter what's going on, I can always come back to Buggy and relax. It's a way for me to get away from my classes for a while, get away from other stresses of the time, and just be myself.
So at first, Buggy to me it's a sport. That was first and foremost how I viewed it. So that's what it was when I first started doing it, when I started waking up at 6:30 on Saturday and Sunday morning to come out in the freezing cold weather in October and November. However, once I joined the team, I realized it was a lot more of just the community, to be honest. It was really a lot of fun. There's a bunch of people I did know, but there's also a ton of people I did not know at all.
I got thrown into it, and there's really nothing I'd rather be doing. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it's awesome.
Something special and something that I really feel like every student on this campus needs to experience, whether it's coming out for race day, joining a team, being a pusher, or just stumbling across it, one morning, walking back from wherever they're going. You have to see it and you have to experience it to really understand it, how special it is.
If you're a freshman and you're watching this video, don't think we're insane. Just come out and try it once. Pick any organization and come out and try it once and do it. You'll be happier knowing that you went to CMU and you at least did it. You pushed a buggy, you know what it is, and you can tell people for the rest of your life what this insane tradition was.